Good morning everybody, it's Jeanette here from My Cottage Crafts, and today I'm going to be playing with my Beebeecraft goodies that I received. And part of what I've received with these lovely fabrics, I have had them before and I really enjoy working with them. I love the colours of them. And today I'm going to be making a pouch, a zipper pouch, and I'm following a tutorial by Jennifer Clouston. I will link her channel in the description box below because it is her design and I really loved the way it turned out. So I thought I would give it a try. I saw it last year and I just thought it was lovely and I thought it would work so nicely with these fabrics. Now I have added the navy blue of my own fabric in here just for a bit of contrast because all the fabrics were patterned in the packs. And this is based on a hexagon, and the size of the hexagon is, it's a 2-inch hexagon that we're using here. And I made my own hexagons on my Cricut machine. Now I do have some smaller hexagons from Beebeecraft, but they did not go up to this size. So it's a 2-inch, which is measured along the side there as Jennifer teaches. The pattern actually goes that way, Fifi fur on it. So you have a half hexagon at the top. It's made up of 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What? I thought it was 14, just a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 full hexagons and 2 half hexagons. And to get my half, I just cut one of my hexagons in half. And I did already make the half, but then I thought I didn't like the way it looked there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make another one. I'll just briefly show you that so you get an idea of how to do both the hexagons and the half hexagons. So this here is the hexagon. What I did was I just cut one in half like that, okay? And I have it already pinned, and I'm going to use this fabric because I think that will look better there. It's the same as these ones here. And all I've got is I've got a different color thread. In this case it's a pink thread, and I've just attached it to the center of the template there. And I did number my my hexagons so I wouldn't lose track, although I'm thinking I probably didn't do it in the right way. Now this is how I do it. I think it's pretty much how she did it too. Most people do them very similar. So I put just a tacking stitch in the center there, and then I'm just going to go and attach my hexagon, and it's got quite a nice generous hem around it. And these ones are a little bit different because you've got the sharp point here for the hexagon. It's not just a quick fold like that, because look at all the excess fabric you get there. So I do mine a little bit different. I tend to come in there and fold that one in as you would, and then fold it over like that and bring that. It's sort of, it almost ends up a little bit pleated, I think. I'm trying to think how I did it on the other one. Like that. And then once it's all done and stitched on, you can cut the excess off. But at the moment I can't. I need to hold it all in place. So I'm going to go ahead and just tack this one all together. And it doesn't, although it appears thick there, it doesn't end up thick when you sew it on. It ends up quite all right. So I'll go ahead and finish tacking all this onto here. And to do the corner, you just fold that in like that, tuck it under, fold that one back down, and then making sure you get all those layers, and that will hold it really nicely. And because these are such big hexagons, I do a few stitches across mine. So just in like that, tuck it right in, and then tuck the flap over, and the next stitch goes in to hold it all into place like that. I know people like to use glue. I don't particularly like to use glue. It's a matter of preference. I guess if it was a tiny one and it was really fiddly, I may use one of the quilting glues. I've got the glue pen thing. So now we're coming back here, and it's almost like a double plate type thing that I do just to hold it all in check. Catch the tail like that. And oh, I've looped that around, but it doesn't matter. It's like all coming out anyway. I can't remember how Jennifer did her. I don't know whether she showed this part, to be honest, so I kind of guessed because I only saw the tutorial where it was already all pieced together. So I'm not sure how she did the half ones at all. So we're almost all the way around. Like that, and then I can just do a little stitch to finish it off. It's all coming out. All this pink thread will come out anyway, and so I'll just do another stitch in the back there, and that will hold it all together. And this will now, turn this around, be attached up here on this one here. When you're attaching all your hexagons, the idea is to attach the strips first. That's why my numbers threw me off a little bit. I sort of numbered mine like 1, 2, 3, the other way around, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that, whereas I probably should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that way, but it still worked. But the halves, I put mine on last on the other one, and then realized that this was the wrong color, so I'm going to do that. So I'll probably, you can attach any side first, to be honest. Probably it might be a good idea to do, no, I'm going to do the outside, that way I can do it in one continual piece like that. So I'll clip that together just while I get my thread out. I'm using the thread, and that is also from Beebeecraft. It's this wonderful container full of different coloured threads. So that was the one that I found closest. There are a number of blues, but that's the one I personally found would work best with my colours. So I'm using that one. I'll put that one over there. I'll get my scissors out just in case I need them. And put a knot in the end. Trim it off, and I'll just show you a little bit, and then I'll finish it sort of off screen a bit. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to do this all together. I want to start here at this corner so that I can stitch down, I can stitch along and back up. So let's remove my little clip there. And it's a bit stiff because I've got the hexagons and they're made out of manila folder. And I'm just going to come up through my fabric and bring it right to the point there. And it is a little bit hard to see it on the dark fabric. It's like black on black, you know, it's just a little bit tricky to see sometimes. So I'm going to take a stitch. I'm just making sure I've got the right glasses on. And I'm going to knot that first stitch as well. oh, and I've just lost my thread. And then I'm just going to take a little few threads out of each. So I'll just take it halfway, and because she does have this section on her channel, I don't want to, you know, do too much that she's already done. So once you get to the halfway point, you do a double stitch again. You do a knot. That way, if your thread breaks at any stage or unravels, at least it's been knotted off. So you do a little knot there. Then I continue on there. And then I will bring that across like that and stitch that, and then that across and up like that and stitch that as well. So I don't know if I should show you that. She does show that, so I won't show that. But I'll go ahead and complete the stitching, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've come to the corner there. When I get to the corner, I have to, it is a bit fiddly because there's so much going on here in my hand. You knot it, so I'm going to knot that there, and then when you come across like this to that side, get it even. When you join these next two pieces together, can find it there. Then you also knot that one and do a double stitch, I guess, there. That way it secures it, and then you continue on and do around the edge. Okay, so that has been done, as you can see, and now I think I'm going to press it. There we go, just so our edges are nice and crisp. A little crease there. Yeah. I do like these fabrics together. They're very, they're sensible but fun. Okay. So that's done. Just let me put my needle over here. And now we have to remove the tacking stitches. And I'm quite happy with how, you know, neat that is, because things like hexagons and that, they, you know, it's important that they do meet up, I think. So, and now let's get our unpick, I think, for this. I don't know. Okay, we're going that way. So, okay, we shall try. There we go. So I'm just going to go along and remove, carefully remove, using the back of my unpick, carefully remove the stitches from here. Okay, there's one. Find a place to stick those two, and I'll just show you taking one out. I can reuse that again. It's quite easy, but see how it's kept its nice shape for when I put my interfacing on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the threads out of all these hexagons, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've taken all my threads out. I've taken the papers out as well. They started kind of falling out, which was nice because it meant I hadn't stitched them in too wrong. So it's all nice and flat. now I need to find some interfacing. I will be embroidering on these navy blue pieces so that the embroidery is noticeable. I may do a running stitch around the others. I'm not quite sure yet. So I need to find some interfacing to iron onto the back of the fabric. I will also need to cut a lining piece for the fabric, and I will be using the beautiful silk embroidery threads to do some embroidery on these plain pieces as well. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Okay, so it's a couple of days later now, and I'm back, and I have some interfacing. I did have to go and get some because I didn't have any. I've only got very stiff interfacing, and that wouldn't do. And so what I've done is I traced around my hexagons, and then I cut it like just a little bit, probably 1/4 inch short of the line, so it will sit inside the edge, not right to the edge. And now I just have to iron it on, just making sure that I've got it. There we go, that's a bit better, I think. So got my little iron here heated up, and I just need to press that on. I don't know how much. Yep, that goes on quite nicely. And it's a woven interfacing, the label said. It takes on the body of the actual fabric you're using. I have had it many years ago, very soft, just like fabric. It's lovely. You only need a little bit of it. It is like, you wouldn't want to be buying too much of it because it's, you know, it's not cheap. It's probably not the most expensive, but I'm glad I don't need to buy a lot of it. But I've got some left, and you keep all the offcuts because you can use it for your applique pieces and things like that, which is always nice. It's quite, I could have pulled it this way a little bit more, but that's okay. It'll still work because I was quite generous with my hexagon overhangs, so it will work, and it will be lined, so that's nice too. And what it was, this one was on the selvage edge, and I just decided to cut a bit more of the selvage off, so I've made it a bit shorter, but it's okay. And this should help it be a lot easier to stitch and hold all the hems of the hexagons in place while I'm stitching as well. There we go. Get a nice press. Okay. That. See how nice and easy that is to bend and everything now, and it will be easier to stitch with. Now, what I want to do is my embroideries. I may not do one on this one because that will be the base of the little bag. So I may just be doing 4 of the hexagons, I think, because it goes like this. So those 4 will be seen, but that one will be underneath. So I may not need to do those. So I need a circle. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing, but I've got a rough idea. So I need a circle shape. Okay, what about this? That looks about right. That might be better. Just making sure it's fairly even. Okay, I think I have a pen. Is that the one? Okay, here it is. Okay, that's got white on it. Let's see if this works. It's just like a chalk pen. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do those circles, and that will give me a guide for what I want to do, which is basically a wreath type effect with a flower in the middle. So I'm going to go and try and get these fairly even and draw my circles. Alright, I've done all those. I did decide to put one in the middle. There's no harm in that. It's not going to be trapped roughly or anything like that. And so now I have these beautiful silk embroidery threads from Beebeecraft, and I chose colours that I thought would complement these fabrics. So we have greens, and we have a couple of different shades of greens, and we have the orange and yellows in here, and it's got oranges and yellow, oranges, yeah, a bit of yellow, I guess, or very light orange, and of course blues as well. And so, of course, I think I'll start with the greens and do something in the centre. I'm still thinking about what flower to put in the middle there. So we get 2 packs in each bag. So if you purchase one, you end up with 2 bags. I don't recall whether I've ever actually stitched with silk thread before or not. So it's very soft. Okay, now my hands are a little bit dry, so I know it's going to be sticking to me a little bit, but this is what you get. Oh, okay, here we go. At this end, see, they're all separated. So you're getting, let me just move that so you can see better. Getting this one, and this one, and this one. So you're getting 8 different yarns in here, and they're all different shades, so that's lovely, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to pick out something. So we have 2 different, we have like an olive green, but there's also this green here as well. So that's a bit dark. What about that one? Something that might complement it. That's fairly close, that one there. I don't think we have an olive in here at all. But that's okay. Oh, sticking to my fingers. What about that one? Because although it's light, it might be alright as a complementary colour. But then I like that one. That one might work. And that goes in. I'm thinking those 2, to be honest, might be the best options. Yeah. Okay, let me put these ones so they don't get tangled and things. I think they had them just Watch my fingers on this. Okay, I'm just going to tie it loosely and pop that back in the bag. Pop that out of the way. So we'll concentrate on the greenery first. Put that one over there. I will do the majority of it in the darker green, which it's not an exact match, but it's okay. It's like a teal green, whereas this is like a true green, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. So how do we undo these? I'm not sure. Where's the end? There's one end. Oh, I see. Here it is. Wrapped around here. You'll have to forgive me because I'm not used to working with these. Oh, I see. Oh, and I can just cut off what I want. Okay, let's just cut a piece off there. Put that to the side. Try not to get the rest of it all tangled up. Okay, so how many? Is that going to be too fine? Just a moment. Okay, so I've started stitching with the silk thread. I've never used this before. It's a little bit tricky. I started with 3 and realized that was far too many threads. So I have 2 threads on this, and I'm just doing a simple fly stitch. That's as much as I can manage with it because I'm new to it. And I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let me just take you in a little bit closer. Keeps getting caught on my fingers a lot. Okay, so I'm having to be aware of that. I've got it on a very short length at about probably 13 inches. And every time I'm taking it through like that, I'm having to be very careful that I, smooth it out a little before I do anything else. So it's going to be a slow process. It does look beautiful. The thread is really beautiful. I'm just new to it, and I'm sure there are ways of using this. I do believe if it gets a little bit unruly, you can damp your threads down a little bit. We'll see how we go. But I think the key is not to have your threads too long, because they would get a little bit bitty, I think. What's gone on there? They would get a little bit bitty or fluffy if they were to go through the fabric far too many times. Okay, so I just have to sort it out. See, I can see where one is starting to get a little bit fluffy there. So we'll see. So my stitches aren't perfectly even, but that's okay because the fabric's rather a fun fabric, so I don't have to be very strict. See what's happened? It's stuck to my thumb. I do like to make work for myself. I really do. It's good to learn new things. Let's see if we can pull that through and then straighten it out. I need to concentrate a little bit more, I think. while I'm doing it. Okay. There. Okay, one of the threads went through further than the other. So just, I'm using my purple thing just to help, you know, keeping things smooth. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around all of the circles. This should take me the rest of the day, I'm thinking, at this rate. And then I will come back. I'm thinking maybe I need to wear gloves. Oh dear. It'll be all right in the end. So there we go. Okay, so what I have here, I have a wet one. And I do believe some threads, if they're troublemakers, you can just sort of damp them down a little bit to help them to behave a little bit. So we'll try that. It's my thumb. My thumb keeps sticking to the thread, and the thread doesn't like it. There we go. Okay, so I will continue on and I will show you what it looks like once I've done that. Okay, I'll be back once I've done it. So I've gone all around them, all of them, and then I'm coming back with the light colour thread. I'm not going to lie, this silk thread is testing me, and there's nothing wrong with the thread. I think the thread is absolutely beautiful, does what it's supposed to do. It's my hands. My hands are far too rough to be working with a silk thread. I catch it all the time. It's just driving me a little bit batty, I think. So what I'm doing is I'm coming back in between, and I'll do one stitch there like that, and then I'll come across there. I'm trying not to touch the thread too much, and then I'll do a double one here like that. And then I'll come up on this side, but I'll come up on the opposite side to that first single one, and I'll do a stitch there. And then I'll come and I'll do a double one again. And I'll alternate the angles and I'll alternate the length. Oh, see, look, look, look. This is what happens. And once that starts happening, the ends get fluffy and they make everything fluffy, and then they stick to my fingers, and it's not a pretty sight. So we do a double and then a single, and like I said, different lengths, different angles, and I'm quite happy with that. It kind of reminds me of like a, you know, rosemary, the herb. It's, oh no, oh no. And this has been my life today, just tangle after tangle after tangle. I'm having a love-hate relationship with it. It's beautiful. I love the way it looks. It's got a beautiful sheen. It just doesn't agree with my hands. That's the thing. So, yes, it reminds me of the herb, the rosemary. You know, it's got lots of little twiggy bits. Perhaps rosemary doesn't have colour variation, though. Oh, my So that's what I'm going to do, and this is the last little circle I've got to do. Now, in the beginning I said I was going to embroider flowers in the center. Well, I'm not, because I feel like I've done a mammoth effort just stitching with the silk around all of these. I almost gave up. That doesn't happen very often. But I've got another idea, and because it is lovely. It is, and if you've got silk smooth hands, beautiful. But I just don't. So let me just do that. I'll finish this little bit of thread because I don't want to leave it lying around, because oh my goodness, the tangle I have got the thread in as well is just terrible. Only one of them. I've managed to keep the darker green one tangle free, but I did manage to get this one in such a state. And the thing is, the more I try and untangle it, it catches on my fingers and gets worse and worse. So I've really been tested today. Okay, I'm going to end that one off there. And I'll continue that off camera, so you don't have to suffer through that. But I do like the way it's looking. It's looking very twiggy. The colours weren't sitting right with me. So what I'm going to do is this olive colour flower. I've decided I will do that with the silk thread to bring that colour in. I think that works quite well, and there's not a lot of it, so I can probably manage that. You know, there's a little bit here I've done, there's that little bit and that little bit there, and I've just got these bits here to do as well, and then that's it. But in the middle of these, what I thought was, I think I'm not sure if it's last month or the month before, I got these lovely little daisy flowers. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the daisy flowers in the center of those ones. I'll put the gold one there. It kind of takes on that color there as well. I will go over the center of it though. I've got these, I'll go over the center. I've got this really dark orange, which is the same as these, so I might go over it with the really dark orange. And then at the other end, I'll do the same sort of thing. I will put the opposite way around. So I've got green blue there, and I'll have blue green there, so that when it's all sewn together, you know, it won't be green next to green. It'll be green next to blue. And they worked out quite nicely, because this colour here is like the colour I'm stitching with almost, and the blue is like the blue in these leaves. So, and plus it lightens the mood a little bit. It's not so formal that like a silk thread should be. I probably would have been better off using a cotton thread on this, being cotton fabric, but I wanted to try. And, you know, if we don't try things, we never know. Okay, let's just move that. And I will continue on with that. Finish this one, stitch these on, and do the little green bits, and then we're going to be stitching it all up. So I'll be back when all that's done. I'm quite pleased with how all that has turned out. And you see I did them in opposite directions here. Alright, so when it comes to sewing the little purse together, you're going to be sewing the right sides together. So you need to, okay, that's the pointy side. The long flat side is over here. So that's the angle we've got this on. This part here needs to be stitched to this part here, like that. So that part there will need stitching together. Once that's stitched together, then you will pivot, and that next one will come up alongside that blue there. Okay, so just those two sides for the time being is what we're stitching. And the same on this side. This side here will go like that, and then that one will pivot over and go like that. So you'll be stitching that, the bottom side of this. Yeah. Okay, so that will go up like that. That point of that hexagon will be in the bottom, so you'll end up with like a house shape at the side of your bag. So, but to start with, we're just, our tall piece, we're just folding it down, and we're going to stitch along there. I'm using a navy blue thread for mine. And just a normal, just joining them together as you would normally join your hexagons together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. All right, now for the lining, I'm doing mine as a whole piece of the lining. I think Jennifer did hers as the paper piecing, the same as the outside, but I'm just doing a lining like this in one piece. And how I did this was I just traced around my completed hexagons before stitching it together, and on this side I marked where the piece was and then added about 1/2 inch to turn, well, you know, as a seam allowance. The first time I stitched it all wrong, and so we're going to try this again. So it's pretty much the same as the outside. You have this side here has to connect with this side here. So you're going to go like that and fold that over there and take it, see how I've got that, and I've got one on the other side. So you take it to there, and then you have to bring that one around. You have to pivot, and I know it looks impossible, but it actually does work. And you think it's going to look really messy, but trust me, it doesn't look that messy. So on my machine, I'm going to stitch from here to here, and then pivot that around and stitch from there to there. So I'll have like one piece kind of left, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I'm doing the same as the outside, but it's not paper pieced, and we're leaving a seam allowance. So I'm going to stitch from there to there, pivot that around, and stitch from there to there, and then I'll be back. All right, so that's what it looks like, and you kind of think to yourself, oh no, that looks terrible, but it doesn't. It doesn't when you turn it through. It's fine, and it's the lining. So there's one side done there. Okay, so now I'm just going to do this exact same thing on this side here. So we just did that side, and now I'm going to stitch from there across to there, like that. and then pivot and have that one go like that. Okay, so we're going to end up with one diagonal not stitched, and that's okay. So I'm stitching, well, I'll probably stitch this way. I'm stitching from here to this point, pivoting that around, and then stitching down there. Okay, so that's done, and it does, once again, it looks really messy, but then when we flip it all inside like that, get your corners out, it's not too bad. There's your little house shape, and I've already done the other end. And there's my little house shape there, and so that will be my lining, but of course, being the lining, it goes that way, and it will go inside my bag. Then after I've done my, put my zipper in, that will all fold over, and it will be nice and neat and tidy on the inside. And yeah, it actually does work, and you don't think it's going to because it looks a bit of a mess. And you don't even have to clip these little points here because it's the lining inside, and you don't see that part anyway. It's right down there in the corners. So now I have to fit my zipper on. My zipper, I did get one. Oh, here we go. So I found a zipper at the op shop there, and she didn't trim hers off, but I think I will, simply because mine's far too long. Now, I'm not sure exactly where she started her zipper, whether it was just on the top here and then she closed the bag up, or whether it actually was right around the corner. I might have to check on that. Okay, let me go check. Okay, I'm back. She's just doing it from corner to corner. I did notice that she'd put wadding in hers too at some stage, but I hadn't seen where she did that, and so I've totally missed that step, and that's probably all I can do about that, because I can't really go back and put wadding in now. I just don't want to. So if I was to make another one, I would definitely, because it makes it a little bit more substantial, to do that. And she just hand stitched her zipper in, which I like the idea of. That's how I did my project bag as well, and it was so easy. So that's what I will do here, just nice and close to the teeth. So I'll stitch it on one side and then line it all up and stitch it on the other side as well. Like that. I'll fix that, I'll turn that when I stitch it. I better make sure they're even. Not that there's much I can do about it now. It's just, they look fairly close. So it'll be like that at the top. Oh, I should have left that one white. Never mind. It's okay. Won't hurt. Okay, so I'm just going to change my glasses so I can see better. And she just used a running stitch on hers, so maybe I'll just use a running stitch. I might just double thread my blue cotton. And the cottons I've been using, or the threads I've been using, are also from Beebeecraft, and they're so handy. All the ones that I used to stitch the little daisies on are all from this pack of cottons that has such a good variety of threads in it, especially for small projects like this. They're all conveniently together. So I tend to use that for quick sewing jobs. I don't use them in the sewing machine. I'd go through them very quickly in the sewing machine. This is not meant to be like Jennifer's bag. Hers is, you know, she's done a lot of embroidery and things like that on hers. It's very lovely, but I really liked the design of her little bag, and so wanted to try it and thought this was a great opportunity to do that. So okay, so a nice strong thread and a nice running stitch. Might do a couple of extra stitches. Yeah. It's like a back stitch I'm doing, but I'm not connecting them up, so it looks like a running stitch. I'm just making sure it all goes to the other side all right. And I will just continue on with that. Alright, so I've gone ahead on the lining and stitched that last little piece up at the top, and I'm just going to pop my bag in there like that. All my zip is stitched in. I stitched the little side pieces up as well. I'm just getting my corners in the same spot on both the lining and on the outer piece, just to help it line up properly, and then fold down the seam allowance I allowed, which was about 1/2 inch. I mean, I can do it as much as I want, I guess, now that it's all put together. And just line up the seams there. And then I can pin. Just put a few pins in to hold it nice and tidy. And then just slip stitch that on, and then it should be finished. I wish I'd have seen the piece where she put the wadding in, but it's a little bit difficult sometimes to find particular things she's working on, and it must have been, you know, she must have done it after she'd finished her embroidery. So but next time I will know, and I will hopefully remember to do some wadding if I make another one. It's been a fun project though. Nice working with these fun fabrics from Beebeecraft, and the silk embroidery thread, which was a lesson for me. But I'm glad I did it. You know, it's good to try new things. And it has taken me a little bit longer than what I expected to do, but it should be nice once it's done. Another handy little project, something that I can use. Okay, I thought the opening would be a little bit bigger than that, to be honest, but perhaps I should have continued my zip right down. I don't think she did on hers. So, okay, I'm just going to go and slip stitch the lining all the way around. Okay, so the lining has all been stitched in, and so we can turn it through now. Get our little corners out. It feels a little bit more substantial now that the lining's in. I still would have perhaps liked a bit of wadding, but it's okay. So there we go. It's done. The zipper works fine. Let's just get that pulled through. Goes right to the end there. So that's how it looks, and then that's the inside, all nice and tidy in there. And there we go. A lovely little bag, and it's not too bad. I will give it a little press, I think. I think if I made it again, I would take the zip all the way down to this little apex down here, just so that when you opened it, it had a much wider mouth on it. But apart from that, I think it's lovely. I think everything worked well. The pattern was wonderful. The embroidery threads look very, very pretty, even though I had some difficulty with them. It was wonderful to use them for the very first time. The fabrics, as always, make me happy. So there we go, and that's the bottom under there. So thank you so much for that's what the bottom looks like. See how that comes in there and out again. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this tutorial hasn't been too long, and I hope you've been able to understand it. I will put links to Beebeecraft products that I've used. I've used the silk embroidery threads, the fabrics. I've also used the cottons as well for stitching things together. And of course the little daisy flowers here as well. So, and I'll also put links to Jennifer's. I'll put links to the first tutorial that I found that started this project, and then you can go on from there, because it's labeled differently. So if you find the first one, it should continue on from there. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye.